Now that we've explored the use of the Java Supplier functional interface in the context of the Java optional class, let's take a look at another common use case where Java suppliers can be used to store constructor references. We'll examine this capability in the context of yet another concise example that shows how to use supplier objects to hold constructor references and then use them to create objects dynamically. And this example can be found in the EX13 project, in the FP folder, in my modern Java GitHub repository. A supplier is often used for zero parameter or so-called default constructor references. Here's the CRDemo class, which is short for constructor reference demo. And that class, as you can see, implements the runnable interface, which means it can override the run hook method, as we'll see shortly. The CRDemo class also defines a field called mString, and its default constructor, or the zero parameter constructor, initializes this mString object to say hello. We then define a constructor which we name the zero param constructor reference. And in that, we create a supplier that's initialized with the zero parameter constructor reference for CRDemo. And you can see we call this supplier instance factory. We parameterize the supplier interface with the CRDemo class, and then we pass in the CRDemo : new constructor reference to factory. Once we've assigned factory with the constructor reference, we can then use the get method on factory to make ourselves an instance of the CRDemo class using the default constructor. We then turn around and call the run hook method on the CRDemo object, which we'll call the run method down below, which turns around and prints the value of the string. Let's now take a look at yet another example that illustrates how we can simplify the creation of factory methods by using constructor references in conjunction with the supplier interface. So as you can see here, we've defined a static nested class called CRDemoEX that extends the CRDemo class. And what it will do is it's going to override the run hook method this time to uppercase the string before it prints it. And you can see here, when the run hook method is called, it uppercases mString and then prints it to the standard output. Let's take a look at the zero param constructor ref EX constructor, which demonstrates how suppliers can be used as factories for multiple zero parameter constructor references. As you can see down below, we define two objects, CRDemo factory and CRDemo factory EX. Both of these are suppliers. They're parameterized by either the CRDemo or CRDemoEX classes that we've defined. And as you can see, we also provide the corresponding constructor references for either CRDemo : new or CRDemoEX : new. So we've now got two suppliers that have been initialized with constructor references that will make different instances of different types of objects. When we call the run demo helper method, this will then be passed the appropriate supplier object, and that supplier object, as we'll see momentarily, will be invoked to create a new object and then call its run hook method. Let's now turn our attention to the run demo helper method. As you can see, this method is parameterized by type T that extends runnable, meaning that it has a run hook method of type T that can be called. Run demo is provided a parameter of type supplier of type T called factory. And as we'll see in a moment, it uses the factory to create a new object and call its run hook method. Here we can see the call to factory.get, which encapsulates the details of invoking the concrete constructor, either CRDemo or CRDemoEX, that's used to create the appropriate object of that type. And then finally, you can see how the run hook method is called to print out the string, either in the original format or in the uppercased format. Now that we've talked about the use of supplier, let's take one step back and generalize the concept of constructor references to take arbitrary parameters, as opposed to the zero parameter default constructors we've looked at up to this point. This particular example and this capability is actually unrelated to the supplier interface, but it is an interesting thing to be aware of. So we'll see here that references to constructors with arbitrary parameters are now supported in modern Java. And to demonstrate this, we're going to define an interface called try_factory that's going to take four generic parameters. A, B, and C are the parameters passed to the of factory method, and R, of course, is the return type. So here you can see that the of factory method creates an instance of R using those generic parameters A, B, and C of types A, B, and C. Here's the 3-param constructor reference constructor, which makes an instance of try factory, parameterizing it with string, integer, and long, and finally CRDemo, which will be the type of object that's created. And to do that, it's going to pass it a constructor reference, which is also given the syntax CRDemo : new. Except if you look down below, you can see this time the CRDemo constructor that will be used is a 3-parameter constructor that takes a string, an integer, and a long. And what's going to happen here is that the M string will be concatenated with S, I, and L, which are the parameters to the CRDemo constructor. Then, when we call factory.of and pass in the answer is 4 and 2L and invoke the run method, that will go ahead and create and print the 3-parameter instance of CRDemo, which of course will print out the classic string, the answer is 42. So that's the end of our walkthrough of the Java Supplier functional interface and how it's combined with 0-parameter or default constructor references. And then we also talked about how constructor references can be generalized to support an arbitrary number of parameters.